Not today, pal. Not today.
Our next guest might be the number one person who I wish was on Sopranos.
Yeah.
You really might
Yeah.
be. You might not. I mean, for the acting, for the hanging out around, I think you would have gotten along with everybody.
I wanted to be on the show. Okay, this is early on in my career. And
Sebastian Maniscalco, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way.
yeah, I wanted to be on the show so bad. I was like, wow, this looks like a fun show to be on. And then my father and mother, were like, just go and go down there. Like this is early on where they didn't understand the process of like how you get on shows. You have to audition and whatnot. So I did audition for the casting director in New York and didn't get the part. I forget even which part it was. It was a small part. But yeah, I don't do well in auditions.
We don't either. We talk about it all the time.
It's terrible experience.
Yeah.
It's a little bit better now that you could put it on tape and send it in.
Right.
But the actual going in, I remember when I went to audition for the Irishman, I went in and the problem I have with auditions, I don't know a lot of casting directors, and I feel that every audition I go on, everybody knows or has a relationship with the casting director.
Yeah.
You hear them coming out of the room going, "No, we'll see you at the barbecue." Not a barbecue. But I went in there and dying in the room. I lost the saliva in my mouth because I was so nervous. So it's 35 minutes they were working with me to like, come on, we know you could do this, and I just dropped the ball. I had another shot to audition again, but it's terrible. I don't like it.
You're making me feel so much better right now.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if that can happen to you, it can really happen to any of us. Because I say it all the time whenever we have comedians on here. To be a stand-up comedian to me is like the bravest thing to do.
Well, listen, everybody's got you're actors, you go into a room, this is what you do for a living.
Yeah.
I don't generally do that, so I don't know it. I don't know the world. Even being on set now, I'm on a show, I'm new to acting. I don't know how this stuff works. Talking about food, eating,
Yeah.
they give me a plate of food, and the director's like, eat the food. I go, well, I don't, like if you give me two things to do, talk and eat at the same time, I'm done.
Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of nuances in acting I'm learning on the fly here.
Sure.
And that's just a new muscle for me.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's more the way that you can own a stage. Like the way I see comedians own the first 60 seconds when you get out there, where you can just walk and just like say hi in like 5 different ways to your people. Like that's what you could do in an audition room. Do you know what I mean? That's your time. Jim Gandolfini, this is the best advice he ever gave me, was he always said, an audition is your rented time. That's, you own that room. That is your, it's as if like you rented that room for those 5, 10, 45 minutes, however long it lasts, and that's yours. So you own it like it's your stage. So you're welcome. Here's your advice for your next audition,
That's it.
Sebastian.
That's
so happy
rented
to help
time
you.
for me now.
I've probably gone on 3 auditions in the last 15 years. I hate them more than I can't really think of any. If you told me tomorrow that I had to go on audition, it's hard for me to think, besides like actual illness or something like that, it's hard to think of something where it's just so bad.
Yeah.
And I remember the worst one I ever had was for I didn't go on an audition for like 7 years, and they were like, yeah, they want to see you for this like war movie. Like it's really good and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, fine, I'll go. So I think I actually went to LA
I was with you before you went. Do you not remember this?
No.
We like met up before and we were looking at it. Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm really going to put myself into, and like, I remember I was staying at the Roosevelt Hotel, and there was like I'm like, finally I'm going to stay tonight in the room and just learn this like really, and there's a bachelorette party in the room next to me, and they have like a 4-foot like fake penis that they're taking like beer bongs out of on the terrace next to my terrace. And I'm like, this is so like, I'm not supposed to be in this movie, so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna lock myself in the bathroom, learn it. I do, and then I get to the audition and I have it memorized, and it's just like the woman's like, okay, we're running in the thing, bullets are flying, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, and go. She's like, this is crazy. And just like looks up at me. I had nothing. I just didn't, I was like, I can't, I was like, I shouldn't be here. Like, I just told the lady, I was like, I can't do this. And just like full flop, horrible. And after that, I didn't go on audition for like another 6 years or some shit.
It's nerve-wracking going in those rooms, man. I mean, even if you know what you're doing when you get the job, right? But just getting the job seems to be an awkward position to be in. I've been in rooms where I do the thing, and it's just, listen, what I do for a living, the validation is the laughter is like, okay, I'm doing well.
Yeah.
I'm getting laughs.
Yeah.
In the room, they're like, oh, okay. It's like then you walk out. I mean, I just it's
so
not
awkward.
good. Not
Yeah.
good.
Before it was digital, sometimes it would get so quiet in the room you could like hear the film rolling, and I would be like, my insides would just be like turning a bit. This is so fucking bad. What's the first word you hear of Scorsese wants to work with you, or like it's?
I remember that was outside an Equinox gym in Los Angeles.
I love it.
I got the phone call, and it was like, well, it was nerve-wracking because, again, you want the job, but now you got the job, and you're like, I'm doubting.
Of course.
Can I do this? I mean, can I work with Scorsese and De Niro and Pesci and Pacino and the guys I had on my wall?
I mean, come on.
So it was extremely exciting. The 2 days prior to shooting, I didn't get a lot of sleep, and my first scene was with De Niro and Pesci in the Copacabana scene. And I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know, like, how does this work? Like, I feel like when you go onto a movie set and they're already like 8 months in or 6 months in,
Yes.
I feel like the new kid coming to school with his lunch, trying to find someone to eat with,
Yeah.
Sucks.
And I'm not Mr. Personality. I don't, I'm not, hey, I'm very quiet. Even in school, when I went to school, I went home for lunch in high school.
Wow.
And watched Three's Company. Wow, am I a nerd?
Wow. Yeah.
I love it. I
was
love a
smoking
nerd.
blunts and drinking 40s at lunch in New York City. I really was.
Yeah, I'm watching John Ritter.
Yeah.
So, it was a nerve-wracking experience, but I learned a lot. All these experiences in acting, I've learned a lot and taken it to the next job.
Yeah.
I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. For people who don't know, Jamie's parents, we've been doing this podcast for a year. Jamie's parents are outside because they wanted to come.
Well, no, that was a beautiful, happy accident. They came because it's Mother's Day.
But I'm saying they weren't going to come to the studio.
No.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait, Dad, are you a fan of Sebastian? He was like, the biggest. I was like, great. I got a present for you.
Yeah, he's a sweet man. We talked prior to getting on the podcast.
We were
That's
actually,
cool.
this isn't really a podcast. We're just going to have you do 60 minutes of cameos into the camera for all of our relatives. If you could go, my Uncle Bob just retired. If you could just hit him. But it is like, I really think one of the hardest things to do as a comedian is like, Jamie's parents love you. My little sister loves you. But then like comedians like you, which is like, I don't really, I feel like since like Chris Rock, to me, there wasn't somebody where it was like, yeah, everyone likes you, and the comedians are like, yeah, he's legit.
Oh, that's nice to hear. My material, I guess, is very kind of broad observational materials, and then I honed it on my family and my father, which I think people tend to gravitate towards, no matter if you're Italian or Spanish, Greek. I think people kind of relate to having an overbearing father, or a father maybe who thinks an entirely different way than maybe the majority of the parenting out there.
Jamie's might be right outside.
There's plenty of material sitting for you in the lobby right now.
Yeah.
I bet. But yeah, I think that's what people kind of were and you talk about, it's funny, it's like multi-generational, where you got maybe, and by the way, I'm big with parents. Parents are my core fan base.
Yeah.
People keep coming up to me like, my mom loves you. And I'm like, well, what about you?
That's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that the fact that it's grandparents and it's like kind of kids, because I think kids maybe gravitate towards like the physicality and maybe the facial expressions. I know my own kids, which is to make my kids laugh man, I mean, you know.
That's the
Like,
best.
You don't know yet. You'll get there. But
Maybe.
He can practice on mine.
Yeah, even if I have kids, who knows if I can make them laugh?
Yeah.
but to get them going is like
The
man,
best.
Oh, it's the best.
The best.
Yeah, I had the first time that ever happened to me was out here at I went to get like a green juice at this place, and this kid was like behind the counter, and he's like, oh man, he's like, can I get a picture with you? And I'm like, oh yeah, sure. And he comes around, and he puts his arm around me, and right before they take the picture, he goes, my mom's gonna freak out. And I was like, what? And he was like 20 years old or some shit. And I was like, your mom's gonna freak out. He's like, yeah, she talks about your show all the time, and like whatever. I was like,
You know what I think is a little bit of a mind fuck for us too is because we were the kids on the show. You know, even when the show ended and I was 26 years old, I was still like a kid. And I think still people like look at us as the kids,
Yeah.
even though
yeah.
you
Well, yeah,
know,
I mean, like,
we're not young.
well, it's funny because, you know, the show, your show is being discovered by a
Right.
whole new generation. I
Yeah.
mean, for us, for me, that was like the Sunday thing. You put it on, and it's like everybody got around the and watched. It was like ceremonial. It was like, oh man,
Right.
the Sopranos are on. Now that it's like living on streaming and whatnot, I think people are rediscovering the show, and you know, it's not so communal anymore, just
Right.
because it's, you know, an older show, but. Yeah, I mean, when I was coming on here, I was like, God, I remember the first episode when the ducks were in the pool, and you know, I think Soprano slapped you in the head on the way in. I remember that, like, you know, it was yesterday, and
Wow.
you were I don't know, there was you and your mother were having an odds. You wanted to go somewhere,
Yeah.
I think, on a trip or
On
something.
a ski trip.
On a ski
Yep.
trip. So,
Yep.
so I mean, I just that the first episode, I haven't seen it in years, but for whatever the reason, I remember kind of you guys as kids.
Yeah.
Neither
Yeah.
of us ever watched the full show. Like I've never seen. You've seen more than me, but
Mm-hmm.
I a lot of people tell me that the first episode is very different than the rest of the show, like the pilot. And I don't know what they mean by that, but
Well, there was almost a full year in between the first episode and the rest of the show, the pilot and the rest of the show. So, I mean, yeah.
but I think
but
they mean
also
like
even,
the vibe. Like it's not. It almost feels like it's gonna
well,
be like.
I remember when we first shot it and they were talking about like how to market it. And they were saying like, is this a comedy or a drama? Like, I think people went back and forth, like HBO executives about it for a minute.
Well, I mean, I thought it was extremely funny.
I didn't realize how funny it was until I watched it. I watched it for the first time during COVID, up until like season 5, and that was the biggest takeaway for me. It was like, oh, I didn't realize how funny the show was.
Yeah, and you being kids on this show, since you really didn't have anything to compare it to, did you know how big the show was while you were doing it, or you're just like, oh, this is a TV show, this is what normally happens? Was there any indication that, oh wow, this is like a cultural moment here?
I mean, I think after a while when we started going to like the Emmys and the Globes and the award shows, we could feel like there was obviously some momentum and feelings about the show. But as far as the vibe on the set, I think it was the same from the very beginning. It was never an ounce different from when we were shooting the first season to the last. Just the same crew through the whole way, the same vibe, the same respect. Everybody's time was just as valuable. And I really appreciate that was our first experience in this industry, essentially, because, you know, it really set the bar for how it should be. There were really no assholes. This episode is sponsored by DraftKings. Download the DraftKings casino app and have your favorite real money casino games right at your fingertips. New customers who use my promo code NOTTODAY and play just $5 will receive $50 in casino credits instantly. Choose from over 300 real money games, slots, blackjack, roulette, and live dealer games whenever you want. With more real money games added regularly, DraftKings Casino is changing the game with new ways to play. I love me some blackjack. I have put in so much time at the casino tables playing it, and now it's right on my phone. DraftKings Casino has awarded over $100 million in jackpot winnings. If DraftKings Casino isn't yet available in your state, check out DraftKings Daily Fantasy app, where you have a shot at winning cash prizes all season long. And rest assured, DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. Head to the DraftKings Casino app right now. Sign up using promo code NOT today. Play just $5 and instantly receive $50 in casino credits.
I also think being everybody was from New York, like LA is
Yeah.
kind of where things get wacky, and there was none of my camper was parked too far away from it was like, get the fuck out, like none of, and also
No, we
David
had like
Chase,
cement block rooms with space heaters for the first
Yeah.
5 seasons.
and David Chase had the vibe of like, if you're an asshole, you can open the script and be dead. Like, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, you'll just be gone. So it I think it kind of kept people in line of being like,
That's
but I think
true.
everybody would have been anybody because they were just, everybody was. And then I think what I do remember is like, we definitely didn't know in the beginning and shooting the first season, anything was crazy. But I remember somebody called me and they're like, there's a billboard of you guys in Times Square before season 1 came out. And we were like, what? And they were like, yeah, there's a billboard in fucking Times Square. Like, it's massive. And like, growing up in New York City, to be like, you're on a billboard in Times Square? Like, that's crazy. My whole family got in the car. We went and saw the billboard. And I feel like that's kind of the last thing I remember. And it felt like a week later, it was like
Done?
the biggest show.
Oh.
Like, people talk about like Seinfeld and it was like, yeah, it took us a few seasons. Like, I feel like the first episode or second episode came out and it was just fucking. And then the weird thing, like you said, when you show up on a set and you're kind of like, oh, or who am I going to sit with? Or who, like the first time we went to LA, I remember being like, this is going to be weird because we don't know any of these fucking people, but we wanted to meet, it was like the people from Friends. And then we're like, holy shit, this is big. And when we showed up, they wanted to meet us and we weren't expecting it. Like, we showed up on a New Jersey transit bus to the Emmys, like
Yeah.
as like a thing. And we got off with the attitude of like, fuck these people, like, yeah, they don't want us here. And we're like, ruining the party and this. And then we got there and everyone was like, oh my God, like we love the show. We like you. And it was like, oh, damn. But, it was also, it was nice.
It was very cool. It was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
very cool experience.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. It
Yeah.
sounded great. Let,
Yeah.
let me ask you one thing, and you don't have to tell me who, but was anybody killed because they were an asshole?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then there was also, I think they talked about it on like another Sopranos podcast, but we used to have, so they would send us to LA for the Emmys and put us at the Peninsula, which is like one of the nicest fucking hotels. And they would give
great
us
beds.
great beds. And they would be like, oh, what, like room service, everything's on us. So you could just fucking, as a kid, I was like, oh my God, can I order like 2 cheeseburgers? Like, I thought that was crazy. And for years, it was like, whatever you want. And then one trip, somebody went fucking crazy who wasn't like a member of the normal cast. I think they said who. I think it was Joey Pants. And he basically, it was like, I think we won, and it was like bottles of Cristal to the room and this and everything. And then after that, it was like everybody gets like a certain amount of money every day, and he ruined it for everybody.
Screwed it up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
God
yeah.
damn it.
But there was very little like arguing on set and people.
None. There was one person that came, I think I talked about it on the show, that came in and did a role, and she was such an asshole that it was like she was in the end of one season, and then in the next season was going to be a big part of the show and was recast during that time.
Wow.
Because it was like no room for that.
Yeah, but normally things happen the other way, where like Drea, who played Adriana, was supposed to be like a maitre d' in one episode, and then they were like, "You need to come back," because we were like, everybody was.
Yeah.
She was great, and everybody got along. It was really like, it was. I thought I loved acting when I was doing Sopranos, and as soon as I did one acting thing after Sopranos, I was like, "Oh, I hate acting. I loved Sopranos." It's
very different.
I hate acting.
I think it might have ruined you because
It did.
ruined you ruined your mind because you might have thought, oh, this is the way it's going to be throughout my whole career, right?
Oh, yeah. It was
Yeah.
a rude awakening for me when I moved out to LA
How
after.
frustrated are you with the earbuds?
So sorry. This is probably so annoying to stare at. Just cut me out of the camera.
If you were given the choice where it's like, for the next year, however long, you have to either act or do stand up, same amount of money, same amount of time, what would you choose?
Stand up.
It's easy.
Yeah.
For you.
Well, it's
The choice I meant. Sorry, not stand up.
Yeah. It's stand up. Stand up for me is I get excited to go and do stand up. I can't wait to get on stage. Can't wait to share this new thought I have that I think it might be funny. with the acting, especially now I'm 50, I can't even. It takes me, I don't know how long to memorize the lines.
Right.
And I transpose some of the words sometimes, and sometimes I just want to say how I normally talk, and then they'll say that say it this way. I'm like, oh, okay, say it that way, son. I didn't say. I said did. I said didn't instead of did not.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's that specific. So I just like stand up because I'm in control. If I want to move over here, I can move over here. I don't have to hit anything. It's just in the moment. It's just, I don't know. It's just one of the, to make a group of people laugh, as good as they're feeling, I feel 10 times better than they do. So
awesome.
it's just really rewarding. And with acting sometimes, for me at least, it's a struggle just because I'm kind of spoiled in the sense that I get a lot of immediate feedback of what I'm doing is either good or bad. And with acting, sometimes you just have to trust in your ability that this is working. So
Yeah.
Do you feel it's super rewarding though when you do a scene and you go, I think that was fucking great? Like, do you feel the same satisfaction?
Yeah, it's a feeling. Those feelings are very few and far between for me.
Same.
But
For everyone, I think.
It's the worst.
There's just that moment where you're
Dude.
But sometimes you do a scene and then you watch it and how they edit it, and it's like, wow, that was
not what I did.
yeah. It's
Not what I was going for.
Yeah. It's like, how come they're never showing my face when I talk? Yeah. Like, why?
That's the worst.
Why would they do that?
And they show you once and you're like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Picking something off your shirt.
Yeah.
It's like, so something we do on this show sometimes is something called Memory Lane. We will like show a picture, and usually because we've been friends for almost fucking 30 years, it's a picture of us from some random time we don't know, and we look at it and talk about it. But we have one for you here, if the boys are ready.
Oh, wow. I had a wall like that.
Well, the
once.
reason I chose this photo is because I feel like this photo was on the set of everyone's house in Sopranos. Like an Uncle Junior's
version
house.
of it.
Yeah, like this exact fucking,
I love it.
somebody's birthday or christening. Or,
I feel like the stone wall was a staple in the 80s
Yes.
if you walked in an Italian house, because Italians generally are in the construction business, right? And there's always somebody in the family that does that wall.
Right.
And which really makes no sense, because you're literally eliminating an entire wall of your room for anything. You can't put a TV
Can't hang
there.
anything.
Yeah.
You can't put
So
anything
true.
there.
Maybe
but
once a year stockings you can throw
Oh,
on
no,
there
no.
somehow.
Our stockings were on that.
That's it.
That's
What
it.
do you have
Yeah.
to put a nail in?
How
do you hang them?
They were those rocks were so coarse and jagged.
You could get an edge.
you could just throw a sock on the wall. and
You
would
rubbed it
hang
on your
there.
head and then just put it on the wall.
Yeah.
Did you have to work for that height of hair, or did your hair naturally kind
man.
of like land like that?
My father, believe it or not, is a hairdresser, and
Oh, wow.
you would have thought that he worked at a restaurant based on my hair. My hair was always awful in the sense that I have so many colics and whatnot. But no, this is a full blown blow dry.
Nice.
So-
Oh, as in a mullet? I didn't
Yeah,
notice
no,
the
it
hair
is
behind your
no, that's
ears.
a full mullet.
That's a full mullet.
It's the startings of a mullet. But yeah, I used to blow dry my hair, and that was the result.
I love it.
It's high and tight. I
It
guess.
is. That is the definition of high and tight.
I feel like I've seen this photo before. Like I think Italian people have this photo with those exact same clothes.
Yeah,
you know
that-
what I mean? Like the gold watch on your dad's arm and the short sleeve white
that-
button up. Like
That's
the
that's my
Oh,
grandfather.
your grandfather. Yeah.
If that's my dad,
Yeah. Wow, good for that.
All right. Your
Good
grandpa.
for
Yeah.
them.
yeah, that's my.
I should have definitely known that was your grandma.
Yeah.
You kind of would assume from the photo that they're married. I guess I don't
Listen, Sopranos ruined our brain, bro. What do you?
Yeah.
I just see, like some people don't see color. I don't see age. I just see
Yeah.
three loving,
That's right, Rob.
That's my-
And then we have a second one too. We have a second memory lane.
Oh wow.
That's the full mullet. Is in.
That's full mullet. That's so that down the hair is still high, but then we're bringing it a little forward to give it kind of like a bird effect.
I was gonna say you remind me of my dog, where there's like different hairs. You know what I mean? Like his tail and his body and the hair and his hair like don't match because he's a mutt. Like I feel like that's what's going on right now.
I'm glad you were referring to me as an animal. No, but the back of the hair is so askew right now. That was a transition phase. I think I'm coming out of I used to get the back of my hair permed. This is, yeah.
I love this.
You want to talk about Italian. I mean, when you have a full
Just the back.
perm in the back, going to a Acapulco bar in 1989 at a teen dance club. You guys are too young for maybe the teen dance club
Oh,
craze.
teen clubs.
No, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But they would do teen nights. It was
And
like
New York
regular
City clubs.
teen nights.
Oh, teen nights. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's what we used to do. I used to go to teen nights. Another buddy of mine, his name is Francesco. We bought 2 shirts that said Italian boys on the back, and we would
Oh, wow.
go out and dance like a.
By the way, that was like my type when I was like,
That was your type?
I
Oh,
would
yeah.
have been all about you guys.
Right?
She dated a guy who looked just like that, minus the mullet, though.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, man. That's 16, 17. I think that's high school. No wonder I
Wow.
was watching Jack Tripper alone.
I can picture you excited to go home for lunch just to watch her fucking. I also think it'll make you happy to know while Jamie was comparing you to a dog, her earbud fell out,
Oh,
and she
God.
tried
I
to
didn't
play
care.
it.
I
She tried
didn't
to play
see
it
it.
cool.
I'm being so professional. Stop.
yeah, come on, we gotta help you out
right.
here, James. Come
All
on,
right, just ignore me again.
You can do it.
So sorry.
I came across this video the other day, and I was like, man, I'd love to know, because you never know. It's like, because I looked at this and I go, it's kind of a good idea, but also what's like your kind of vibe, which is like, what's your problem? Like, can you show the video? There's this girl who's like, I have it's also this thing I follow that's supposed to be like healthy food stuff, and she's like, I have a hack for movie theaters, and she shows this. We have to take the sound off because it's like there's like music or whatever. But
She
it's
put the butter in like a small glass.
Yeah, so she goes, no, we don't do. I have a
a
perfume bottle
spray.
that this is sad.
You know what? You know what? Just stay home and watch the movie.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Can you push play and just go a little more and see what she does with the thing? Because that's what I
exactly
really.
right.
That's where it cuts off.
Oh, okay, that's
here.
because then she takes that, she screws the top on, and then she sticks that in her pocket, and she's like, "We're going in." Like,
Yeah, listen. When you gotta bring like stuff from your kitchen
yeah,
to the movie theater, it's
When you're
it's
ordering mini perfume bottles on Amazon to go into a
That's
movie theater
right.
to sneak extra butter in, because her whole complaint is it stopped tasting like butter about 150 kernels through.
She got a fresh manicure for this TikTok filming.
Let me ask you something. If the internet didn't exist or social media didn't exist, do you think this stuff, like, I'm fascinated because why is she showing us the butter spray? Is
Yeah.
Is it because there is money on the other end of that?
Yes.
Right?
I think showing
Fame?
this to the
Little viral
internet
fame?
is
Yeah.
the only way that she gets a smile.
Attention.
Because if
Is that
she's
what it
just
is?
doing this alone, it's a real sad. That's like, what was that movie that came out with Brendan Fraser?
Can you imagine seeing that
The
live?
Whale? Like that's the vibes it gives me. Where like if she didn't have the internet to be like, look how creative I am and silly. Like I think she would just be like, I'm putting butter in my pocket again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just sometimes
See, here she is
Here we go.
spraying
you
and
spray it
and now
up.
she's filming in the movie, just like,
Oh wow.
yeah, exactly.
Oh no,
Oh,
he's
look
got
at this. His guy got a
showing
perm
it.
in the back too.
Oh yeah, that's a beautiful head of hair.
Well.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's enough effort to get to the movie theater, let alone bring some tools to make it.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Is like, oh, I go and everything's there.
That's right.
Like, you know what I mean? And now she's like, oh no, don't forget. And then she'll get in a fight with me because it's like, you forgot the fucking. I told you to grab the perfume spray, and I'm like, you didn't tell me to grab the fucking perfume, you know? And then it's like, fine. Oh, the movie. I think the movie sucked because I was mad at her the whole time.
Yeah,
it's the
that
whole
would be
thing.
your-
It's just
Okay, you're a single guy, right? You're dating.
Ugh.
You bring a girl out to a movie theater, she pops out a spray
how
bottle.
hot is she?
Yeah, I think that's a deal breaker. No
If she's
matter
a 9, if she's a 9.5, I'm like,
Nine
oh,
and-
that's a great idea.
9.5, is she spraying popcorn?
Yeah,
I'm done.
yeah. No, I'm grabbing extra napkins. Like, babe, I got us. I'm fine. 9.5.
Wow.
No, because
Yeah.
Because if she's doing that, there's other things that she's doing that's going to be a problem moving forward. That's a tip of the iceberg, bro.
Well, the reason I'm almost 40 and single is because
he does those things.
no matter what, it seems that there's always problem. You know what I mean? So
Do
if that's,
you have a thing you do? Like what?
Oh my
he has
God.
a lot of things he does.
That's
oh.
why I'm like a recluse. Yeah, I barely leave my.
Well, like no, I mean, like, do you have a popcorn spraying type thing that you do that could be a deal breaker for a girl?
Endless. This whole podcast has basically just been like. So I went to
Tell
go
him,
see.
give him some of your weirdness.
I went to go see you in LA, and it's really hard for me to like go even see stand up because I'm never around crowds, and I just so hyper focus on like what people are doing. I can't even. What do I do that's crazy, Jimmy? You know,
Well, what's one of his?
I
Like,
eat once a day.
He eats once a day.
And I don't sit while I eat. I stand, and I eat for like an hour and a half, maybe like 2 hours.
Even to mix his own salad dressing takes him about 7 minutes of whisking.
Yeah, you have to emulsify.
He marches around my kitchen island and just whisks his salad dressing.
Yeah.
He'll eat no refined sugar, very clean. He drinks this much of water before he even gets out of bed.
I
pretty
woke
much.
up 2 hours early before this because I can't leave my apartment without going to the bathroom.
He
first
has to
without
shit
shitting
before he leaves his house.
first.
well, I mean, that's kind of like.
Most people could just shit anywhere.
Well-
One place I could shit. It's probably been about 6 years since I've shit outside of my home.
Can you believe you've never shit at my house?
Only
When
when
you
I
stayed
stay
with
there.
me,
Yeah,
okay.
when I stay there. But
I don't like to share bathroom humor.
Oh.
However, I had an incident coming here.
Oh no.
I did a blood test yesterday, and what they gave me was basically a sugar water, and they wanted to monitor how I process sugar throughout the experiment, right? So they took my blood every 30 minutes.
oh wow.
Then I had a banana, which I generally don't eat, just because it
Was
might.
this? Sorry, was this a hospital banana? Or you bring your own banana.
I had a banana at the
Nice.
house. I go to the airport. As I'm boarding the plane, I get an attack in my stomach. And I generally don't like to go on an airplane. But I was one of the first ones on the plane.
Oof.
The flight attendant is a fan. Oh, we like help. I said, use your bathroom. Use the bathroom.
And she's like, no.
I do my thing, and it don't flush. The fucking plane ain't even on yet. Right? They didn't turn it on where the plumbing's
You're a
working.
pre-boarder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh my
I'm
god.
like,
The thing
oh,
just opens and it sits there.
it's just there, and like I can't walk out.
No, and just leave
and
it.
leave that
no.
there. So I'm staying in there an extended amount of time until they put the thing on.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, what are they thinking about me inside the thing? So this is what I do. I take the hand sanitizer. I get like a mountain. I get a mountain of foam, and I throw it on top
Smart.
of the toilet. Right.
Brilliant.
So
This is so smart.
hopefully that will like disguise the
The poopy.
smell. God, I don't like talking about this. But anyway, so I'm
gotta
just
wait until
standing.
you-
I'm just standing there waiting. Kept pushing, and then finally they turned the plane on, and then I flushed. Now,
They're gonna say you have to pee on it.
no, I didn't pee on it. Oh, what's that gonna do?
You try to get it down.
Oh, yeah, no, this ain't going down with
Oh, okay.
with the
Right. This is a blood test sugar
piss
water
pressure, bro.
banana poo. Yeah.
This- I found, and I've never seen this before, but in this dire moment, I just look up to the right. There is air freshener in the wall. I take it out, and it's like a little eye droplet. So I'm just eye droplet the whole thing. So now here's my dilemma. Do I come out of the toilet and act like nothing happened? Or do I go in hard? And I chose to go in hard. I came right out, right to the flight attendant. I go, is there internet on this flight?
Nice. Wow.
Just to break any awkwardness that might be happening.
Yeah, yeah.
And she's like, yeah, no, when we go up, we get internet. Okay, just wondering. So I think I smoothed the situation out. And the way I left the bathroom, I got to tell you, it was as if it was brand new. Wow. Like nothing happened.
You wiped down the counter and everything.
Wiped down the counter. I did a
I'm impressed.
Beautiful job.
What's the first thought that when you like push the thing and it opens and nothing happens? Do you feel like a bead of sweat just go down your back? What's the first thought?
You know what I did is while I was going, I was trying to flush because I figured like if I'm going,
what a kind- what a
there's-
good guy.
and
Courtesy
there's no-
flush. That's what we call them in my house.
As I'm going, I'm thinking, okay, as it comes out, I'll just flush it down. We
Yeah.
won't have any problems. But I'm like, fuck, you gotta be shitting me. But yeah, I like I said, I don't like to do that type of humor. It just happened on the
You're
way
in the
here.
space.
Yeah,
We
the
probably
studio
brought
brings
it out of
of
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this
It just-
YMH
it just-
Studios.
I don't know what it is. It's just
I know,
being
sorry.
here. I feel very comfortable.
Something I really wanted to know about you. Do you watch any reality TV? Are you a reality TV guy?
Love is Blind has been our guilty pleasure, and that's all I've been watching really with my wife because my wife. Yeah, I'll give you an example. We just watched The Roast on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife doesn't get cultural references. She doesn't. You know, when we're watching a movie, it's always pause. Hold on, what? So we're watching this roast, and they said an Aaron Hernandez joke, right?
Yeah.
She's like, pause. I said, what? Who's Aaron Hernandez? I said he was a football player. Then they did a joke about him having a ring around his neck or whatever. Pause. What did he do? I said, he committed suicide. Did he die? It don't matter about. She needs the backstory
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
whole.
That wasn't a short roast, so she's.
Yeah, well, we didn't. I shut it
You
off.
didn't get through it.
Right.
After 5 minutes. I can't. I
Yeah,
just want
yeah.
to enjoy this. Can we just stop asking questions? But to your question, yeah, Love is Blind because it's like there. You can't ask any questions. It's like dumb watching.
Yep.
Yeah, because I love 90 Day Fiance, but the problem with 90 Day Fiance is, let's say there's 8 storylines, 2 of them are golden, like the best shit you'll ever see, and then the other 6 you gotta fast forward through. So it's a little bit of work to you gotta find the ones you like. But there's a couple in there that I would love to hear you talk. I wish you were like, yeah, I watched 90 Day Fiance because to hear, there's just there's a very not good looking guy who's probably can you just Google Jasmine and Gino 90 Day Fiance. And she looks like a star of like a Spanish soap opera, and he is like the most. So yeah, just go to the one on the.
Oh, you love
yeah.
these two. You
Zoom-
reference them often.
Zoom in on that one. You go to the one that you clicked on, and then zoom in. Look at these two. It's the most interesting thing I think on television times 10 to watch these two.
How do they get paired up on the show?
So they come to the show and go, hey, we've been talking for years. So like 90 Day Fiance is. The K-1 visa is a 90-day process. You can fly somebody in from another country. You get 90 days to test out, do you want to marry them? So he was going over to Panama for years to see her and be with her or whatever, and finally her visa got approved, so now she's over here in America. But she is so mean to this guy. And what she says she loves about him is that he's ugly, and she's like, yeah, I love your shark teeth. And like she describes how awful he is, and he's bald. He'll never take the hat off. He has sex, wedding, everything with the hat on. And then she, when they're fighting.
He has sex with the hat on?
And then when they're fighting, every episode, she'll scream at him the most horrible things you've ever heard someone say to somebody about how he can't get hard. they're
On camera?
fully on camera. Look at her
Wow.
screaming
Oh, yeah.
in that photo. So she, in the last episode, she reaches, or like a while ago actually, but she reaches under in the car seat because she dropped her phone and she finds a lip gloss. And this is that. And they are the most and the problem is they talk about how they don't have money. They've gone on 9 vacations and it's like the 4th episode. Like
Well,
they're always in
TLC's got
Miami.
to be fronting that
and they're this.
bill.
Yeah, but like they're doing things on vacation and all this stuff
They
where you're
should
like
be working.
they're spending or just like not spending money like this.
Right.
They're they're probably the 2 most interesting people I've ever seen in my whole life. It's
Most reality television stars are interesting people. I
they're
think.
just and she's a full on like everywhere they go, people are looking at her like this woman is so gorgeous, and then they're looking at him and they're like he's fully autistic, like everything about
Oh man.
I just love them to death, and I wish that
I wish that I would watch the show.
Yeah.
Get more of a background on these two.
I wish there was a way that they would just put together their clips, because the rest of the show, a lot of it is awful. But they've been together for years, and now she's blaming him. You know, she can't get her kids over here. She's blaming him. Everything that happens, she's just, it's your fault.
It's his fault.
I hate you. I want to go back to.
He loves it. He loves it.
She goes from Panama to Michigan, and she's just crying because she's like, it's so cold, and she hates her life. It's really. I wish there was a way to just get you their segments, because I think you'd enjoy. Or you'd hate it.
You know what? I made a conclusion. I think you need a woman.
Yeah.
You gotta stop watching this shit.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. Hey, you're probably listening.
Is Sebastian gonna be the one that gets through?
No, I don't. It's tough
No.
out there.
I've gone through the dating apps with him. It's rough.
It's tough.
Why is everybody saying this? Oh, it's so tough. What's so tough about it?
You know what the truth is?
Because he's picky.
Because I love being alone. So for me to date somebody, it has to be better than when I'm alone. I don't find that. I date somebody for 3 months, and then I'm like, I want to be alone again. I like being alone.
Yeah, but like, my husband is the most annoying person on the planet to me.
Yeah, I don't want
But
that.
when he walks in a room, I'm madly in love with him. Like, it's the best. I love having somebody that I'm annoyed with. I love having somebody that I can like get my shit out
That's
with.
what 90 Day
and
Fiancé
it's
is for
safe
me.
and we're not mean, but we get it out and we do it and we laugh at it. And then you have somebody to watch quality television with at home.
Yeah, listen, I respect that you want to be alone. I totally respect that. I don't want anybody in my space. I want to come and go as I please. I want to whip my salad dressing for 9 minutes without anybody telling me.
Yeah. See, I do it around her a few times, and that's the whole thing, you know? Imagine when I'm doing it every day in front of a...
And I relate to you, bro. I do, because I was just like you. I didn't want kids, and maybe I'm just gonna like do this solo. But when you get to 50, 55, and you're whipping your own salad dressing, and you got nobody there.
That sounds nice to me. It really does. I'm like, yeah, go on. Where's the bed?
All right, to each his own. I'm just telling you that there might be a missing there. I mean, I'm just telling you. I'm coming from that world of my life and where I am now. It would be a shame for you. It would be a shame for you not to have a nice little family.
Listen, like I try, and then I date somebody for a while, and then I go months where I'm like, I don't want to date, I don't want to see anybody, and then I do, and then it's a night, and then I go, I love being. I'm also like a bit of a bum where like I like waking up at 1 PM. Chicks don't really like that.
Yeah, well, that's good. There's no help here.
Yeah.
I tried, guys. I tried. Just tried to offer a
Yeah. Sorry, ladies.
little advice, and
Yep.
but just as long as I planted that seed in the back of your head, maybe you'll refer to it as
I'll
as
water
time
it.
goes on. Just
I'll
water
water
it
it
every
now.
Yeah.
every week. Just put a little
Just a
water.
little
on
bit.
it.
Next girl I see, she's like, what made you decide to come on a date? I'm like, well, Sebastian Maniscalco.
Yeah.
Said I was crazy and missing out on life, and
Yeah.
so I'm here.
That'd be reason enough for plenty of people.
You want to see me emulsify my...
I'm sure there's a lot of women that would be happy to whisk your dressing.
And I'm sure, when you post this, you're going to get, how dare you tell him to have a family? You're going to get that
Oh,
group.
wow.
But, it's a beautiful thing. I'm just telling you. It's nice kids, and it's nice.
I go see her kids. They're great for an hour, and then I leave.
Okay.
I don't wanna-
Forget it then. Just
Yeah.
die alone. Die alone.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, everyone, listen. That was Not Today, pal.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming
Thank
and
you
really
so much for
I knew I
coming.
would be really cheered up by the end of this.
No, I had fun. I had fun here. And,
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you
thanks
so
for having
much.
You're on the dream list of if you could
Yeah.
have had anybody.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you guys. We'll see you next week.